The Murray State Student Government Association held Racers in Action at the Curris Center to encourage their fellow students to become more involved.
Racers in Action helps students prepare for upcoming elections and encourage them to send letters to their state leaders, as well as registering to vote.
So if students are residents in Kentucky and they live, let's say they live in Daviess County and they're coming to school here at Murray State University, they're really here, about 8 or 9 months out of the year. So a lot of students don't realize that when they're registered in Daviess County or wherever it may be in Kentucky, that doesn't transfer over here to Murray without them doing something. So we have a really simple, it's the same card you filled out when you turned 18 at the courthouse, and you'll just do an address update on it. So you'll go through really simple, you'll fill out all the demographical information, then we'll take that over to the courthouse and we'll get it switched, and then hopefully they'll be geared up to vote in the next election right here in Murray so they don't have to drive home.
Voting was an important part of the event, and organizers took every opportunity to encourage students to exercise their right to vote.
We look around the world and there's quite a few democracies, but not nearly as many as there are not democracies. And it's really it's a blessing, and really, it's just, you should just take advantage of it because you can, because you have that right. You're an informed individual, or you can be if you wanted to be, about who to vote for. Not everybody can say that, and so you should really be aware of it. It's a truly great thing.
Voting wasn't the only concern at the event, though. Kentucky funding of higher education was also a big topic of conversation. Students discussed the consequences of any change to the school budget.
People need to go to school. People need an education, especially with the jobs today. And I think cutting, our budget would decrease retention among students who are already here, and it would decrease the students who think they would like to come here because they can't afford it.
To encourage representatives, students could sign letters to send in to Kentucky leadership, urging them to support higher education and students like themselves.
2007, really, our state funding has gone down significantly, nearly 20%, while enrollment has increased significantly, around 8%. So we're just hoping that this year will be the year that Kentucky chooses to restore higher education funding, and we think that we have a great group of students here that can help get that voice out there and hopefully get our money restored to our universities. We realize the legislators have a tough session ahead of them, but we are really optimistic for what can be done.
And it is that optimism that leads students like Clint to help organize events like Racers in Action. The event brought student attention to several issues that need to be addressed, and students walked away a little more informed on the issues important to them.
Apparently, we need the funding to continue to run programs, to continue to be a great school, and that goes for all the schools in Kentucky. You need funding. Every school needs funding, and for legislators to say, oh, we want kids to go to school, we want them to get an education, well, they need to invest in the education.
Organizers were glad to see the impact they had on attendees. Racers in Action will be back in the Curris Center on February 8th and February 24th.